Hello and welcome to my shop. I've been working out of this little space for around 6 years now. It's just under 200 square feet and it kind of grew organically over time. Eventually, I decided it was time to reevaluate the space so that I can improve organization, workflow, placement of tools, everything. So I put together this little tour to share with you guys in case, it might help someone else with a small space. So let's take a look. Here's a quick overview just to give you an idea of the space. Since my shop is long and narrow, I decided to locate the majority of my tools along the walls, leaving the center open for building, glue ups, and also the table saw, outfeed table, and drum sander. However, everything in my shop that is in the center is on wheels and can be moved as needed. All right, so let's talk tool placement. I put my dust collector center of the shop so that it would be somewhat equidistant from all the tools. My table saw is dead center of the shop, and that was done so that I could have the most functionality from it. It is on wheels in case I need to move it, but basically sometimes I run longer material so I can bring it in the back door and just feed it straight out the front. My dust collection is split into two channels. Along this wall, I have all my high volume tools closest to the dust collector. And up this run, this goes to the other side of my shop where I have lower volume tools. This is just here to protect the blast gate door because I do store wood here and I was afraid if I was pushing wood around, it might bend the door. So this is just a little added protection for this blast gate. I like these metal gates. One thing I don't like, this little knob that it comes with. It's fine for this one because this one's horizontal, but vertically, I swapped it out for a little nylon screw so that I can just operate it with one hand. Running down this side, first up is my planer, the highest volume tool in my shop. Up next is the table saw, followed by the belt sander and bandsaw. Now the last one, the bandsaw, is actually a shared port because down below I have a drum sander. Jumping over to the other side of the shop, you've got the miter station, router table, and drill press. Some people say that a miter station is a waste of space or that they don't need a miter saw, and that's true. You can achieve the same goal using other tools, like a table saw with a miter gauge, or even just a circular saw. But the miter saw sure is convenient, and I'm not really wasting a lot of space here. Additionally, I have one more item down here at the end, which is my CNC. All my hand tools, like my orbital sander, are attached to this dust extractor. Now, this space is a little tight, but there's enough room for me, to walk around and access these tools as I need to. But if I did need a little more room, it's super easy to roll this out into the driveway or wherever I need it. Now, let's talk about this table for a minute. I really like this table. It's mobile. It's a good size. I normally work on smaller projects, so it's a good size for me. I custom built this. It's kind of a POC MFT bastardized table that I just came up with. It has 20 millimeter holes, just like the MFT table, 3 inches on center. I've got storage for all my clamps down below, bench cookies, whatever you need. It also functions as an off-feed table for my table saw. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, the drum sander is down below. I really like this clamping system because it's quick and it allows me to access the entire surface area without any interference from clamps on the top. Additionally, if I did need downward clamping pressure, I've got these guys which take care of that. Another cool addition from this renovation is a camera, so I can keep an eye on things, especially when the CNC is running. And also this little Google mini hub. I use this little hub for all kinds of things, from setting reminders and timers to turning on my dust collector. Hey Google, turn on my plug. It's important to utilize your vertical space as much as possible. Lesser used tools are either up high or down low, and all the ones I use most often are within hand's reach. Even little spaces like below the drill press where normally there's wasted space, I have clamps as well as a vise and a sliding mill vise. I built this little cubby to fit over the base of the drill press. Behind my bandsaw, I've got my tracks for my track saw, additional blades, cauls for doing panel glue ups, and up above are my clamp racks. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Everybody wants to know about this bad boy. This is the X50 woodworker from Onefinity CNC. Because of the size of my shop, I never thought that I would have a CNC this size. Honestly, I was looking at little desktop models until I discovered that they make and warranty a setup like this. So this is meant to be mounted to the wall. They developed this, tested it, and will support me. They have excellent customer service. I'm not sponsored by them, I'm just a big fan. The overall footprint is around 48 by 48, and the cutting area is 32 by 32. Although, the way I have it set up, I have about 48 inches on the y-axis. So the biggest cut I could theoretically do is around 32 by 48. Down below is the controller. It's protected from all the falling sawdust. Over here, I have an extension on the USB cable so that I don't have to reach down under there to access. And then everything has its place. I got my touch probe, wrenches, bits, controller, router speeds, micro jig match fit system, and then of course the touch screen. I developed these little holds to facilitate loading material because it is vertical, so I'm always fighting against gravity. I'm hands-free. I can set up my hold downs. Additionally, I made a little recess here for the touch probe. So that I don't have to hold that either. Now let's talk wood storage. I do have sheet goods over here behind the dust collector. And the rest is all up above so that I can still have tools down below. Love this air compressor, California Air Tools. They make a great product. It's really quiet compared to traditional air compressors. And this hose reel is a game changer. I love this thing. No messing with coiling the hose. It reaches out in my driveway, it reaches out to my back patio, and everywhere in my shop. Over here, adjacent to my table saw, I've got a trash bin with some larger bottles of resin and glue. And then up above, I have all my most commonly used oils, glues, solvents, etc. PPE. You'll notice throughout my shop, I have ear protection and eye protection everywhere. So here's some here. Then if you move down towards my bandsaw, you can see the red muffs hanging from the wood supply there. On the other side of my shop over here, there's more above the miter saw. I figure if it's everywhere in the shop and it's always in my face, then I'm never gonna forget to use it. Almost everything in my shop has a permanent home. That way I'll always know where it is and nothing will ever get lost. The only things that don't have a permanent home are pencils, tape measures, but I've got several of those, so I'm not really worried about it. However, sometimes even a pencil has a home. So that's it. It's not a very big space, but it works for me, and I think some of these ideas could be implemented into your space no matter the size. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, let me know in the comments. Thanks.